Today I'm going to be going over the steps for starting your shift for your drivers, assigning a delivery order to your driver, and closing out the driver. Now the first thing you want to do is you want to click on the clock in/out option that you'll see at the bottom of the screen. Now on the screen you're going to go ahead and put in your passcode. I'm going to put my passcode in now. You can verify that the account is yours by looking at the top of the screen, and you can see here you'll see my employee ID, and then you'll see my name to the right of it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the clock in option here. Now, in order to start your shift, you're going to want to enter a bank amount. So this is the amount of money that you're starting off with. So I'm going to say I'm starting off with, let's say, $50. It's going to want to confirm that amount. So I'm going to say yes to that. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the done button down on the bottom right. At this point here, I'm going to go ahead and log into the software. Now, technically, the driver doesn't have to be the one to place the order. So let's say I'm using a different account to place an order. So I'm going to log into the software. I'm going to click on delivery first, and then I'm going to choose new on the left side here. It's going to prompt me for a phone number. And then this is going to take me into the order screen, or the customer screen before the order screen. So at this point, you can adjust the address or enter it for the first time. If the information is correct, you're going to go ahead and click on the update/order button on the right side. Once you're in the order screen, we're just going to ring in a few items here. Once the order is placed, I'm going to click on the send button down below. Now, in the event that it's a credit card transaction, meaning the order is going to be paid via credit card, you could hit the pay button here, and then you can insert the time or the expected time of delivery, and then you're going to click on the credit card button that you see down below. The moment you click on the credit card option, on the credit card machine itself, it is going to prompt you to insert your card. Now, if it's going to be a card being placed over the phone, you can type in those numbers immediately after you get the screen that asks you to insert your card. Once you start typing in the number, you're going to see it display on the screen. And once you've done entering the numbers, just hit the green key on that credit card device. Now, it may ask you for some additional information like the zip code or the PIN number. Now, you can skip some of that information if you don't have it or it's not relevant by hitting the green button that you'll see on the credit card device. But if the transaction is going to be paid by cash, you don't need to pay for it right away. You can go ahead and hit the send button on the bottom right. This will actually send the order to the kitchen, but it's also going to be added to your delivery tracking. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the delivery tracking option here, which is right next to the new button. Now what you're going to see here is at the very top of the screen, you're going to see your delivery orders. And then down below, you're going to see your driver list. So right now we just have 2 drivers that are on the clock. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure that these drivers are on the clock before you assign any of the orders to the driver. So as you can see here, it does show me that Joey and John are currently on the clock, and it shows the time available. So if I want to assign this particular order to, let's say, Joey, I would first need to make sure I select Joey's name down below, and then make sure the order is highlighted. And then you want to click on where it says assign to driver at the top right of the screen. Now, if you noticed here, the status is going to change from what it was to allocated to driver. This lets you know that this order has been allocated to a driver. And as you can see here, if I look down below for Joey's name, it's telling you which orders are assigned to him, which currently right now it's going to be this particular order. And then if I select John, you can see how it disappears to let you know that there are no orders that are assigned to John. Now, if I made a mistake or I want to unassign an order, I can simply select John or Joey's name, and I'm going to go ahead and at the very top right of the screen, I'm going to click on unassigned driver. This will remove that order from Joey's name, and then it's going to change the status to say in kitchen. And then if I wanted to switch it to a different driver, I can select the other driver, hit assign to driver, and then as you can see, now it's going to show the order under John instead of Joey. Then I'll just switch it back here. Now if you look on the right side, you have a few other options where you could view the order. So if I just wanted to see exactly what's on that order, I'll hit view order. Once I'm done viewing, I can hit send, and that's going to bring me back to this screen. I can also print the check. So this will print out a copy of that check, which should include the address. I can also show the map to see exactly where that location is in comparison to my location. And then down below, you're going to see your dispatch and arrive. Now, dispatch basically means that your driver is heading out to that location. So if you see your driver leaving, or the driver can do this himself, you're going to make sure you click on dispatch. And that's going to change the status to on the way. And this is a good feature because you may have a customer that calls in and they want to know where their order is. Well, because you hit the dispatch button, it's going to let you know that the driver is on the way to the location. Now, once the driver comes back, you're going to click on the option here that says arrive. And what's going to happen is it's going to remove the order from the screen. And then you're also going to see the money drop feature being illuminated. Now, we don't have to do the money drop feature right now. We can wait until later on. It's just going to start compiling up as you're taking more and more orders. So I'm going to hit close here. Once we're back at the order type screen, you will notice that the order is shown here. Now, the reason why it's still open is because technically it has not been paid out yet. So you will see this order open until the money drop feature is completed. So if you'd like to do the money drop feature early, you can, or you can wait until the end of the night. But just make sure that you're keeping the money drop receipt so that you can ensure that everything is accounted for when you go to do your shift close. Now, there's another thing you can do as well, which is adding tips. Now, this can be added in two different ways. The first way is by going into your operation at the very top here where the back office is. And then you're going to click on where it says add credit card tips. And then this will give you a list of all of the credit card transactions that you've processed. And then if you look to the far right, there's going to be a field here where you can double click and apply the tip for every single credit card transaction. Once you've done adding them in, you can select the apply tips button to the right, and that will add the tips to all of those transactions. Now, another way of doing it is by simply clocking out. There is a feature already enabled within the software to where as soon as you clock out, it's not only going to end your shift, but it's also going to verify that you don't have any additional tips you need to add in, which is going to take you back to the same screen that I just took you in, where you can add those tips. So going back into your delivery tracking. Now, let's say we're done, like we're wanting to close out the shift. You can select the driver to which you want to do the money drop for. So it can verify that there is a money drop available by clicking on the name. And then if you see here, the green is going to be illuminated on the money drop. Now, because there are no orders for John, if I click on his name, it's going to be grayed out. Now, the money drop is only referring to your cash sales. If it comes down to anything dealing with credit card or checks, it's not going to show that in here because it's only designed to look at the cash sales and close them out all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and click on money drop. And then you can see here, it is going to give me a total of $33.89. If I want to, I can just go ahead and print this report out, which is going to immediately print to my receipt printer. If I would rather just see it on the screen, I can click on report detail. And this is going to show me a list of all of the cash transactions that I've taken. So it's not going to include the credit cards or anything else. It's just going to include the cash transactions for the money drop. Now, what you're doing here is you're only viewing it. So this is not closing out the money drop. To close out the money drop, you're going to go ahead and click on money drop to the left here. And it's going to want to verify that you're actually closing out $33.89. If it is a different amount, you can enter the correct amount. But if that does add up correctly, then you're going to go ahead and click OK. And it's going to want to confirm that you're closing out your money drop. So I'm going to hit yes. And if you want to, you can print out a receipt, which is basically just a receipt that I just printed out earlier. So I'm going to say no. And then that's going to that's going to close out your money drop. And you can verify this by looking at the money drop button, which is now showing gray to let you know that it's been closed out. Now, once the money drop is complete, you want to go into your main screen again. And then let's say you're done for the day. You're simply just going to clock out. So I'm going to go ahead and click where it says clock in/out. I'm going to enter my code. I'm going to click clock out here. And then it's going to want to confirm that you're clocking out after a cash counting. So I'm going to say yes. And because I did take a cash sell, you can see here that I should owe a total of $83.89. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that amount. So I'm going to say I have $83 and then I'm going to put in, let's say, a couple quarters. And let's just do 2 nickels. Okay, once I'm done here, I'm going to hit OK. If you want to, you can also enter your cash tips. It is optional. And then I can hit yes to print my receipt. Now you're going to be given a choice between a server shift report and then a liability report. The server shift report is very basic. It's only going to give you what you owe. The liability report is going to give you a list detail of all of the transactions that you've taken. And then it will tell you what you owe, but it does not include the start amount. So you want to make sure that you're accounting for the $50 in this example in that liability report. So once you've clocked out, that's pretty much it. Your driver is at this point good to go. The tips, like I said, if you haven't already done so, or if there were any transactions that had tips, it will pop up before you go and clock out the driver. Now, if, for example, you didn't get that liability report or you need to recover it, you can actually log into the software to get that information. What you want to do is you want to go to your operation at the very top here. You want to then go to your time clock management towards the top right. And then you're going to see a list of all of the employees that have clocked in for today. If it's going to be a different day, you can actually change that information up here. So if I wanted to go back to last week, or if I wanted to go back to today, tomorrow, you can make that adjustment. But just make sure you hit the refresh button and that'll update the information. So if you look down, I'm going to see this is Joey. So this is the employee that we just clocked out. So I can go ahead and click on the right side where it says clock out report. This will give you the option between server shift report or liability report. And not only can I print it out, but I can also display it on the screen if I'm just wanting to view it. And just like that, it's going to show my liability report, which is going to include my categories, so food, how much in the none department, how much in sales, and then it's going to break down the order payments. So you'll see a list of all of the payments that or all of the orders that I've taken, and then you'll see that expected money summary. But like I said, it's not going to include the starting amount. So if I started off with $50, then you want to make sure you account for that as well. And that is it for the tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 888-470-0878.